Hey, welcome. Karen here. I hope you enjoyed video 1. We are now in video 2 of the neuromagnetic messaging mini course, where I'm going to help you in these 3 videos go from being unseen to being standout to your perfect people, to standing out to your perfect people, I should say. And we're talking about messaging today. We're talking about getting you to be magnetic, to igniting the 3 parts of the brain that we need to get through so that you can connect to the heart of the person that you're trying to reach. Why? Because how you can get the mind and the heart of your perfect people engaged in a specific sequence that moves them into actions towards your offer, how best you can do that is the person who's going to be the top-notch coach, the person that comes to top of mind when they're thinking about that problem that you wrote down in the first video. So to back up, in that first video, we talked about your offer. We talked about a few things, but your homework was to come up with at least one offer that we're going to talk about. What is an offer, we said? We said an offer is really your solution to a problem. Now, who's got problems? People. So that's what we're going to be diving into today. Your message is to a human. Lots of things are changing right now in the online world, in the messaging world, in the marketing world. I think it's going to really have a big flip, and it's flipping now. So you guys are in the right place, and gals, right? However, the one thing that stays constant is that we're talking to a human. And guess what? You're a human talking to a human. So we're going to talk a little more about that today and why that connection, building on that connection, how we are instinctively wired, how we're going to connect the left and the right hemispheres to connect them in a way through the corpus callosum that the heart gets open and expanded, is how we're going to start doing that today. We're not going to cover the whole journey, but we're going to get you started with just step 1. How does that sound? All right, so that's what we want to do. Magnetic resonance on a micro-resonant journey. It's connecting that heart and mind of your perfect people. Who else is doing that in your space? Probably no one, but you're going to be. And the problem right now what coaches are facing is that they're hustling with tactics instead of systems and understanding the neuroscience of languaging so that you get through the noise and cut through and stand out to your perfect people. So here we're going to talk about today your message. Okay? All right. So you're going to be taking notes. Get your notes and your handy pen ready because I go fast. And these videos are going to be much shorter than the first one. I promise. Okay? And we're getting you ready to join this is your preparation, I should say, for the upcoming virtual intensive where I'm going to deep dive with these with you. I just want you to come in with a fertile soil in the brain, understanding the work we're going to roll up our sleeves and get done together in the virtual intensive because your message matters. Your help in the world is needed right now. We need more leaders like you. So I'm glad you're here. Okay, what is the message? It is actually the most important thing you can do right now is to dial this in, period. Okay? You have to get clear on your messaging. And then how do we put it out there? Okay? Because we have right now these 3 main problems that I see. These are the 3 top problems. I wouldn't say the main ones, but top that I see with clients coming in to Signature Impact, Purpose Academy, or neuromagnetic messaging, okay? Some of the problems are the way that marketing has been taught up until recently, very recently, in the last 2 years, is based on, you heard me say this in the last recording, in the last video, that it is old school direct response. It is pushy. It is triggering the pain points in a way that could be repulsive. So let me tell you what's going on with the brain as we're talking about neuroscience and messaging. Your brain is on the hunt, looking around, scanning the surface all the time for danger. Remember I mentioned the reason you're here today and able to watch this wonderful training is because your ancestors had a very good wired brain that they can spot danger. And the brain's purpose is to keep you safe from that danger. So that's why it's scanning. It's scanning. So if you're not speaking to someone's problem, that problem that you're going to solve. That's why we did that in step 1. Now, what we want to talk about is what is the pain around that problem? What are the pains around that problem? Now, here's the thing. The delicate balance is, how do we speak to that pain in a way that we don't look like idiots? We don't look sleazy. The old school way of marketing was big caution signs and warnings and this and that. Right now, we're in peak anxiety. We don't want more stress. We are already on alert, and I am testing it in our own messaging and marketing and in our clients. And the more they do that push marketing, the less they get, they don't lower their costs on advertising. It costs them more, and it's attracting the wrong people. You don't want victims or very edgy or anxious people that are going to buy into that languaging coming into your world, because it's going to be so much harder for you to have to manage that in your group programs, your signature courses, your signature programs. You want to give more impact. You want to be priming and empowering your people. So when you do the pushy thing and you have all those old school tactics like build the funnel, do this, do that, those things don't matter anymore. I actually have that here as a point, so I don't want to go ahead of myself. But the old school direct response way is actually hurting you. It's not helping you. You've got to be innovative. We need magnetic experts right now to step into how to actually connect to the desires, connect to the wants, the pains, the needs in a way that empowers people, not stroke their disempowerment, not break them down further. Our brains right now are built to protect us. It's going to steer people away from your messaging if you go there. All right? Warning, don't say that you weren't warned by me telling you not to do that. Okay? All right. So pushy, again, wrong time. Wrong time. Some people, you need to get people through stages of engagement and endearment so that they move. They want more from you. You're triggering dopamine, right? Because I want to know what happens next. I want to know what I can do next. You're giving them oxytocin, which is bonding them to you. You're triggering dopamine. I want to see something more. I want to do something more. And the way we do the MRR, our micro-resonant roadmap, that's what we're triggering, not at the wrong time. You have to bring them through different levels of endearment and engagement, okay? Now, it doesn't mean, and we're going to talk about some numbers here in a bit, it doesn't mean that that person with that problem, here's the good thing about talking to problems and the pains around those problems. 7 billion people on the planet. I bet you every one of them has got a problem. Everybody somewhere has some kind of problem going on in their brain right now. Remember in the last video I said meet them at the narrative they already have going on? Guess what that narrative is? We've got 75,000 thoughts. I don't know who measured this, but that's what I learned in neuroscience, right? Training, right? 90% of them are negative. The brain is wired to keep us safe. It is keeping us on guard. So you need to be specific to your person's pain. We're going to dive in a little bit. I want you to remember that, write it down. And remember that just because the person isn't responding now, they may respond later. They know that, Houston, I've got a problem, but maybe they're not ready to solve it yet. You don't let go of that person. We'll talk about those journeys a little more in the boot camp, in the virtual intensive. Okay. Now, spaghetti content, scattered brains crave, actually certainty is what's supposed to come here. Okay. Brains crave certainty. When you're just doing a random download of here's all my viral posts, here's 365 days of posts and all these things, all of that's great. Those are my tactical people. Those are my likable people, the captivators that you might be posting. You may get a bunch of likes today. You put all the little memes, you put all the graphics out, and all that's nice, but it's not taking people on a journey with you. You're just grabbing attention, which was great before. That used to be the best real estate online. But right now, where you're going to stand out is having connection. So the spaghetti content without a strategic map for people to follow, release the dopamine and the oxytocin at the same time, a little bit of serotonin, light them up in their darkness, get them out of the anxiety and the fear, right? However, we have to gently mention the fear with so much specificity that we don't need to use all those bells and whistles and sleazy type tools and ways of pushing pushing things onto them. Brain's going to sail right on by. I got enough anxiety. There's enough stuff going on in Europe and this guy and that guy and these people fighting over here. I don't need any more. Okay, so I think we are in overload right now, and that marketing is not going to work. So spaghetti plus that, no sales. No sales, right? And a confused mind doesn't buy. If a brain doesn't have certainty that what you're going to give me the next day and the day after that doesn't build on the day before, then I'm lost. Okay, well, that's nice. But this person over here that did neuromagnetic messaging with Karen, they are more interesting. They have got my attention. I feel more connected to them. Okay? All right. So here's the fixers. Transformational leaders create brain states through their messaging that open up. PPC means your perfect potential client. Perfect potential clients. Okay? Why do we want that? Because you're not going to be for everybody, as we're going to talk about here in a second, right? You're not going to be for everybody. You don't want to be just the likable person. Like I said, you're going to be that person that your small pool, if you have a small pool, they will pay you big dollars because of how great your messaging is and how much you light up their brains to know it's time to choose you and your offer. Okay? So you have to open their brains and hearts to stop, engage, and take actions on your content. How do we do this? We do this by having your people not just see you, but what matters most today that a lot of the old school marketing teaches, it's not about you. It's not about your personal brand. It's not about your personal anything except for what I'm about to talk about in a little bit. You want your marketing, your messaging is about your PPC, your perfect potential client. Remember that. Write that down. You want to make them feel seen, heard, and understood. Seen, heard, and understood, that is joining the narrative in their brain like we talked about in the last video. Okay? Let me tell you what happens right now. Even though we have more virtual events and more social media and everybody is connected, studies show that people are more lonely than ever. They've also had a lot of time to do a lot of soul searching. They're discovering themselves. If you show them that you can help them feel seen and heard and they got a problem, who do you think they're going to go to? Who do you think they're going to buy into when you present your offer as opposed to your competitor? Because you're giving them a feeling and sensation that they probably aren't even getting from their people at home. They may not have even shared the depth of their problems or what they're feeling or thinking with their spouse or their people at home or colleagues at work or friends in a way that you can articulate it. That is the greatest gift you can give your people via your messaging. And I don't see 99% of the people that are coming into our world, or I see them online, they're not doing that. The people who do it are the people that are doing the 7 to 8 figures because they know the neuroscience and they know how to connect the brains and the hearts. Okay? If you dial this in and do the heavy lifting, sales will be easy. Okay? So you have to make your PPC care. You need to know what they already care about. Okay? Here's the thing. People won't care until they know you care. They just won't. Okay? I don't know where I heard that line first. It was many, many years ago, so it's not mine, but it is true. That line resonates with me because I'm naturally caring. And so most of my people who are here as well. So you have to have this order of attention, connection, and transformation, okay? Before you can build ascension. All right. How do we do this? You've got to get my favorite word. I want you to really, really, really understand. We got to do the heavy lifting here because the more specific you get, the more the brain is not going to block you out. The brain is looking on the horizon because it has a pain to solve, a problem to solve. It's got that Zarganic effect going on. It's a whole other story I'm not going to go into yet. But if you jump in with the right, most specific to their problem, get specific to their pain, if you can get specific to their feelings. Here's the thing about successful signature offers. A person buys anything because they want a feeling. Every buy is going to be emotional. So if you're speaking to their content in a way that empowers them and opens them and puts them in a state, a preconditioning mental and emotional state that makes them ready to believe in you and themselves, you're a winner, okay? So you got to get this specific to their beliefs and wants. Because Lizzie, which I pointed out in the last video again, I'm sure some of you are going to watch that video again, right? Lizzie is loaded with a lot of disempowering beliefs, or they wouldn't be in the problems that they have. You were there once, okay? And those are the beliefs that will hold people back. Brains are built for keeping us safe. And it's going to keep us within the normal old cozy couch, even though it's painful. I know this territory, so the brain's going to build these beliefs that become a barrier for them moving into the transformation. This is why it's so important for you to really do the heavy lifting up front, right? Which is the main work we do in Signature Magnetic. We do the heavy lifting with you to get this as specific and correct to your perfect person as possible. Okay? All right. You get alignment through purpose and vision, right? Which kind of speaks for itself. All the major corporations are spending so much right now. How do we know? We work with a couple of the big brands on their email and their marketing and their content planning, and they tell us we're doing a rebrand. Massive company just told us they went from something to light. I can't say the name, but it was like a 180 switch, but they invested probably a few million in getting more purpose and vision and making that an alignment match to their people. This company employs 900 people worldwide. Massive company, client of ours. We build their funnels and messaging for them. Massive rebrand, because this is where the world is right now. Okay? If they're doing that, that's a sign. I want you to focus on it. Okay? Number 3. The people that stand out use signature stories. Why? People go into the subconscious. So signature story really moves people into their subconscious. If you can get their attention, this is why we spend a lot of time in the right words and the specificity. I've been writing copywriting, which is, ads, since I was 16 years old. I've been running ads in a newspaper. I did all my listings on Amazon. We built a multi-7-figure brand when I was a single mom back in the day. Kids are grown and gone now, right? But it was all because the stories around the products and the ads that I created, okay? When you write stories, people go into their subconscious and it connects the left brain with the right brain. When you do that, you have the whole brain attention. You connect to the hearts, okay? So it is the key into their subconscious mind. No coincidence, I just spoke about those beliefs that you have to overcome. You can't overcome the belief in the logical mind. You've got to overcome those beliefs in the subconscious mind. And the best gateway to do that is really commanding the power and the neuroscience behind signature stories. Okay? It doesn't have to be a massive whopping, oh my God, I changed the world this day or whatever I did, right? It just needs to be your perspective put into a story. Don't just tell a story. Don't just say my product is great or I'm so wonderful. Tell a story. And those of you who haven't gone through the signature story training, we have one in our Facebook group. Just go into the guide section. It is there. I have a whole training on this and a download and a map. Okay. So why we want to use stories is because it helps us shift the belief. But the most important thing, it builds a connection to you because people see themselves in your story. Just remember, when you're writing your stories, your story is not about you. I know, that's a big one. Your story is about you, but if you do this right, you're using these specific things that are going on already in the conversation happening here, and you're speaking to the feelings that are already existing here, okay? We're diving deep into the virtual intensive. All right, hope you guys are loving this, all right? Okay, neuroeconomic studies show that the biggest determinant of a purchase decision is the point when a product or service resonates with someone's identity. We are no longer in the age of personal branding. Even your story isn't about you anymore. We are in the age of identity. And understanding your person's need for self and identity and connecting to them through how they see themselves, how they view their problems, how they are seeing the world right now. That now brings them into a narrative from their mind to you. So you and them are resonating and your hearts can now connect. And now you can move them through the journey towards your offer. You see why the old direct sales thing, sending a penny in the mail, doesn't work anymore? It does not work anymore. We are now in the age of identity. So how you resonate is that you get to know this person better than they know themselves, okay? So the main purpose of your story is going to be to transfer beliefs, okay? So every little story, could be a short caption on Instagram, is a mini aha moment. A mini aha, okay? Literally, a spark lights up in the brain. Neurons fire, you're connecting two neurons together. They connect, neurons that fire together, wire together, but more importantly, that new connection is now anchored in an emotion and a little chemical that's also created in that synapse that's associated with you. That is the power of using stories frequently in your captions. Not all the time, but we talk about that more, okay? So for your homework for today, this is just your introduction to messaging. Most important thing you can do for your business is nailing your message. Your message right now, it's where the money is. It is no longer about how the tactic or whether you do a webinar or a challenge or the funnel. All those tactics don't matter. They will all do well if you have your messaging done and dialed in. Write this down with a huge bold underline. The message is the money. That's it. That's where the money is. Dial this in, you'll get it right. So here we're going to start with simple stories. Just find 3 signature stories you can write about from your personal history. And if your personal history may not align with those, with what you're teaching right now or what your problem you're going to solve, maybe you're doing a tactical thing, you're a service provider, you're building something for other people, then it's not your personal story, but it's a skill that you have that you're packaging, then just write it for your clients, okay? It can also just be your observation of a problem similar to the problems your client experiences. Could be a belief that they have that's keeping them stuck. Talk about that same belief and how you overcame it, but you can share it with a mutual story, okay? Now, if you're selling to weightlifting men, don't write a story about Cinderella, okay? It's gotta match your perfect person, okay? All right, so just find 3 simple stories that you can write about from your personal history. These are not books. This is not for the stage. It's not about you. Simple stories around the pain that you overcame. That's your message. We're talking to pains now. And that have a relationship to the problem that you talked about, that you wrote down in the last video, okay? You're gonna post your biggest takeaway from today in the group, Pretty Pleased with Sugar. We'd like to see your feedback. And then if you haven't signed up for our virtual event coming up, we would like you to go to neuromagnetic.com, and apply for your seat right there, okay? So you're gonna either click the link above me, depending on where you're watching this, or click the link below. Sign up for the upcoming event. Again, if you are looking for our training on Signature Story, you can go look for that in our Facebook group. Go to guides, just do a search for story, it should show up. And I will see you in video 3, where we are going to talk about the micro-resonant journey. I'm so excited for you. I'll see you soon.